Welcome to Fresh Tech Tips. I'm Derrell Norris, CEO of Fresh Tech Solutions. And today, as usual, I have some of my awesome business partners with me.
What's up? I'm Nicholas and Bezos Daniel, founder of Aegis Project Management LLC.
And hey, everybody, I am Dr. Doug Franklin, CEO and co-founder of Deck Launch LLC. How are you guys doing today?
Awesome, amazing, blessed, all of the good words. How you doing, Nick?
yeah, I'm happy as well, man. Those cool weather is coming in, hoodie season. Finally, let's hope it's here to stay.
Yeah, man.
How about you, Doug?
Get these Deck Launch hoodies.
Hey, you know what? Deck
I've
Launch
been saying
hoodies
it.
sound great. You know what? I'm doing great now that we're talking about Deck Launch hoodies. Let's go straight into the budget today, guys. So just as long as you know, there'll be some costs.
That's what's going on today. All
Yep.
right, so today's Fresh Tech Tip topic is great mistakes. Nicholas, what do we mean by great mistakes? Give me one of those
Well,
world famous definitions.
I love when I get to define simple words so it can get even more meaning. So mistakes are an action or a judgment that is misguided, keyword, or wrong. Real ad told me to add greatly. So something that is misguided is really what I want to stay on, because when you get into business or you're an entrepreneur, what guides you is usually that hunger for whatever it is that you're doing, that passion. And sometimes, because it's entrepreneurship, you learn, it's the trial by fire, and you learn from your mistakes and whatnot. You don't really have much of a guide other than that. So you're bound to make some mistakes that you're going to learn from. And that's what we're talking about today.
Yep. And
Definitely.
I mean, just so you know, just because, things that are good intention don't always give us the results that we need. A lot of the stuff that we do tends to benefit at least one person. Sometimes it's just ourselves, or a system like your business. But there are other people that it always affects, and so you're always doing a cost benefit analysis of everything that you do as an entrepreneur.
Agreed, 100%. So how today's episode is going to go? We're basically going to go around the room and tell you guys about each of our greatest mistakes. So I guess I'll jumpstart the conversation off. So my greatest mistake. I'm trying to be politically correct here.
One of the greatest mistakes.
Okay, so my great mistake was that actually happened before I even started my business. The decision to go into business with an individual that I didn't know too well. And they always compare going into business with somebody to marriage. And it's really similar, if not have a stronger effect.
Yeah, no, no.
So when I started the company, I went in with another guy who I was expecting to be my tech expert. So I was going to handle the business stuff. He was going to handle most of the tech things. And well, the guy's a great guy, awesome, good heart. But our agendas weren't aligned. I started Fresh Tech to be solely Fresh Tech. I wanted to never work for anybody else again ever in my life. So we quit corporate America, cold turkey. We're all in, and my business partner, he got a job offer, making a lot of money, way more money than we were making
That'll
at
do
the
it.
time. I mean, six figures for sure. So he took the opportunity, and I can't get mad at that. I wasn't mad at that. What kind of messed me up was we tried to do both, and it just didn't end up not working, and it ended up dragging along for years. So it got to the point where I'm full time in this company, and I'm the only one full time in this company, and it sucks to be in that situation and you're letting somebody else reap those benefits off of your work. And like I said, this was before I knew the game. I didn't know anything about entrepreneurship. I just know I didn't want to go in alone. I needed some help, so I picked the person that was in my life right now. I knew he could provide the expertise, but it just doesn't work like that. But we call this great mistakes because you make mistakes, but you have to understand how to make those mistakes great. So you have to learn from those mistakes. And what I learned from those mistakes and why this is a great mistake is because look at the screen now. Look at my team now. My team is legit. It's
Right.
legit. I had to go through it. And now I know I knew exactly what I was looking for. I knew exactly what I needed. And I went out and got that. And can't nobody tell me nothing.
Yeah.
It's a great mistake.
But that's what I was going to ask you. Is there any way that you could have gotten to where you've gotten to without going through that?
The world may never know.
Probably not.
The world may never know. I could have crashed and burned if I was solo for the first year.
That's true. Yeah,
everything happens for a reason. I believe the universe doesn't make mistakes, and if they do, they're great.
No, I completely agree, because that's one of the things, and this will lead into what my something that we're going to talk about later on this week, but I'll just touch on it a little bit. That was one of the things I was worried about, because us three, whatever we do, it's like, even without businesses, we're like kind of like married to each other. Business-wise, anything we do, we'll always like have in the back of our mind, well, this is what Doug's going to do, and this is what Derrell's going to do. And even for me, even though we haven't officially done it with like Aegis, I already know what Doug's going to do, what Derrell's going to do. Having people like that you can trust, you don't have to worry about that to the official stuff till later, allows you to start, because that's something that you're worried about in the beginning. If you're by yourself, you can just be there with your idea and you don't have anybody to lean on to. So I'm not surprised that you went with a person who was in your life who you can get going with, because that's important. It's more important to go than it's just sit there and looking for, waiting for the perfect person. So I get that. When it's time to cut off, then you pivot. So that's awesome stuff. Because I'll get into mine. So for me, one of my greatest mistakes, my great mistake that I'm going to talk about is being too eager for a client. So, once you start your business, man, clients it's everything. You want to get paid. You're in business to make a profit, right? So that motivation sometimes can misguide you to doing too much for a specific client. Like you're just really hanging on to them, or picking a client that doesn't really fit with you in the first place. So once you get into a situation with someone like this, you're going to find out that they treat you in a way that you probably wouldn't allow yourself to be treated normally. But because you're really holding on to this client, maybe you don't have that many clients starting off, you're going to bend yourself over backwards trying to please this client. You kind of become maybe their employee a little bit instead of running your business. You're attending to their needs. They're reaching out to you all kinds of hours and all kinds of stuff. There is no boundary set up there. That's a huge thing, because you learn nobody wins from that. The client ends up being disappointed because their expectations of you are just set at a ridiculous level, because you've been giving them everything that they want. And then you can't work on everything else. You start to resent time with the client. The relationship just goes all bad. It just goes all bad. So that's the main thing. Like really being specific. Like Derrell said, if business partners are marriages, I don't know what we're going to call your relationship with clients. It's kind of like marriage. So you need to be really, really vet whoever this extra person is that you're bringing into your relationship, no matter how long it's going to be. So really being intentional about clients and being able to say no if you see some signs at the beginning that, hey, this client doesn't really fit. It's the best thing for both of you. But you're not going to learn that until you go through the experience of a bad client situation and realize that it's really not worth it. Like the money is just.
Shout out to Polyus.
Yeah, I know. I didn't want to make the analogy, but you get it. You get it. What about you, Doc? Oh, if you have something to add to it.
Well, I was gonna mess with you a little bit and see what moment, where was it in one of the experiences where you were just like, man,
if client hits you with a 250 word text message on a Sunday night, you just know it's probably about time to start releasing the relationship and letting it go. There's no
breaking up with clients.
You just gotta, it's not you, it's me.
And you know what I love about this is, I guess, all of our project, all of our mistakes have fed into each other, which shows you that everything that you do is kind of intertwined. So my name is Dr. Doug, and I'm a workaholic, and so I'm going to talk to you a little bit about work-life balance.
Hi, Doug.
And thank you. So one of the things that I do want you all to appreciate is that this is something I'm still working through. To be completely honest with you, like a friend of the show and a friend of mine sent me a quote from a guy literally last night, named John D. Saunders on Instagram, where he said, "Working yourself to the bone, to the point of exhaustion, is not healthy and should not be worn as a badge of honor. Build a process, develop a team. It can be a remote. Doesn't mean you have to have a full-time team. And stop doing it all." So we talked about all these things on Fresh Tech Tips already before, and I have not done all of them at all. And so there are so many things that stuff like this affects. So like your job is really important, right? And I get it. And that's what we do as entrepreneurs. Is like the first thing you're trying to do probably is you're like running for the money. So it's just like I'm just like Rel and Nick, where I was like, okay, no more corporate. I'm gonna go into this thing full speed. But what I didn't think about at times was that I don't need to do as much work as I was doing, because there are two things that are really, really important that allow you to work the best you can. The first is yourself, and we often forget ourselves as well to take care of our physical health, our mental health, spiritual health, and then our families. So you can't take care of your family with your business if you're not taking care of yourself. And if you're not taking care of yourself, you continue to degrade, then you can't take care of your family and the people that mean the most to you. And so that is just the big thing for me. It's so like so if I did have any recommendations, you can go ahead and join me as I go back through a lot of the Fresh Tech tips that I've observed and I know are in my toolbox, and I'm just gonna start using them. So like that'll probably be something we'll be talking about on the Dr. Doug page, just to see who's using what tools and how are they effective. But that's really important. Take care of yourself as much as you take care of your business. That allows you to take care of your family and everything else that you have to offer.
And I tell you guys all the time.
So much.
Yeah, I tell you guys all the time that when we're giving y'all these tips, we're actually most of the time we're talking to ourselves.
Yep.
so
Yep.
we're definitely not perfect. And we're trying to follow our own advice. We know that advice is good. It's just, it's hard sometimes, especially when you have so much going on like Dr. Doug does. And he has people he's relying on. He's relying on, he knows we're relying on him. He knows the family's relying on him. So it's just, it could be a lot at times. And so sometimes we just got to tell Doug to just, hey, shut up, go home, go away. Don't do no work. Take his computer. Unplug his Wi-Fi. Cut the wires.
Yeah, COVID is making it more difficult for us to monitor each other, because sometimes, especially the self part, because I know me with my family, my kids will come and pick me up out of my office and they'll interrupt me to the point where I can't do any work. So I know, okay, it's time to give them attention. But me, for myself though, I forget to give myself attention. And then I'm just like down and I don't have as much to give, at the beginning of a week, still feeling like the week ran together.
And the same thing goes for each of us too. Like I can pick up vibes on you guys. I can pick up, if I'm in person with Doug, 5 days out the week, then come Thursday when I see Doug looking crazy, I'm telling, hey, don't come to work tomorrow. But if I don't see that, and I'm assuming everything's good,
it's hard. Yeah, it's hard during this time. We just ran into a different topic for another day, but we need to figure that out.
This kind of feels like the meme of Jada Pinkett Smith taking herself to the Red Table Talk. That's what this kind of feels like.
Hey, bring Doug to Fresh Tech Tips.
Right.
bonus mistake before we let you guys out of here. And this is a mistake that can be easily avoided, but this is one of my not so smart ones. And I'm gonna give it to you because hey, we're all about growth here.
Yep.
So I I just changed my business cards and I was super excited about it. Shut up, Doug. And yeah, so I was like, I usually order, 200, 500 business cards. So I love my new business cards. So I'm like, you know what? I want 5,000 of these things.
Oh,
Yep.
Give me 5,000. Moral of the story is please use spell check. Send somebody else, send somebody the draft.
look at it. You don't get too excited.
Look at it. So yeah, I misspelled my title.
Entrepreneur.
No.
Entrepreneur. No.
Okay, Nick, you can't say that kind of stuff when we're live. I misspelled chief. I misspelled chief executive officer.
He was a chief.
Chief. So hey, I'm sorry, y'all. Excuse us today.
It happened.
The funny thing is that those business cards, just so y'all can appreciate how lighthearted we are in our office, they became ninja stars from time to time.
Hold on. Before the ninja stars, I had to tell this story before we go because you always want to take your mistakes and make them great. So I'm sitting here with 5,000 business cards that I can't use, but I have a speech at a night called F Up Night, and it's kind of like what the discussion we're having today when we're telling about our greatest mess ups. And so I told the story, and at the end of the speech, I'm like, hey, can everybody take one of my business cards because y'all already know there's a mistake on it, and I need to use some of these for something. So y'all already know, take my messed up business cards.
Take 2 or 3.
Hey, you got to make it work sometimes, man. You got to make it work. So
no, that's awesome.
man, so yeah, so we want to start getting engaged more with the Fresh Tech Tips Facebook page. So we're going to be posting later this week. I'm going to continue this discussion about some of these great mistakes. We're going to discuss undercharging and waiting too long to start. Nick touched on it a little bit earlier, but we're going to dig a little deeper in that. So please follow the Fresh Tech Tips Facebook group. Please join us every Monday around 12-ish o'clock on the dot. So be there. We're as always, we're available on iTunes, iHeart, Google, all the podcast devices and the Fresh Tech Tips, all of those. So just when you are a new entrepreneur though, mistakes are going to be made. You just need to know how to learn every lesson possible so that mistake that you thought was so horrible at that point in time can actually be a great mistake. Thank you guys for joining Fresh Tech Tips. We'll see y'all next week at 12-ish on the dot.